So I'm up here at Moriata and I'm on the new Trek/8, which is the latest and greatest from Trek for the Enduro world. So this is their base model, or not base model, but kind of mid-range model. Alloy frame, RockShox Yari at the front with the new debonair spring, which makes a world of difference. We've got the RockShox Deluxe with the reactive. Now, I really like this reactive stuff. I had some issues, I've had heaps of issues actually with my shock on the Remedy, but it's got nothing to do with the reactive. The reactive's been flawless. This is the new debonair can on the rear shock, so interested to see how that feels in comparison to the one without the debonair. So it's only a subtle difference, but it is a difference all the same. Now, noting pressure wise, so in this Deluxe on my old bike, to get the 30% sag, or just over 30% sag, I was running 145 to 150 psi, and then tuning the spacers to suit the rest of the stroke of the suspension. This one, to get that 30%, I'm at 175, so the debonair can's obviously made a little bit of difference. Not too sure how it feels on the track yet. Riding up the hill in that 30% at the back, just over 20% in the front, it feels like it's too stiff to descend on, but it's set up right, like the sag's right. I know how these bikes ride it. They kind of want 30% to 32% to eliminate that bucking feeling and to feel really, really pristine. So climbing up, super efficient. I climbed from the bottom to the top of this track without stopping once, without getting off once. Oh, actually, sorry, there's one corner at the very bottom that I just had a poor line and had to get off, but climbed the whole track, which is pretty impressive for a bike that's set up to descend right now. I could have done that on my old bike, setting it up stiffer, but setting up to descend, that's a pretty good effort on the climbs. These tyres are good, 29-inch wheels, definitely make it easier for climbing. You get more grip, so you don't have to, I found I wasn't having to change my body language when it got steeper and looser. Just kept chugging away, kept climbing. And having long cranks obviously helps for the little bit more leverage for climbing, but you suffer a little bit on the descents. So let's turn it around and see how it goes. So that's one run down, and after the first corner you go through these, it's kind of a little flat plateau with a bit of rocky stuff and whatnot, and then you start to get into the hooky faster bit. And man, this thing just carries speed straight off the bat, straight out of those first corners. These tyres roll super fast. You can tell, I'm pretty sure the tyres play a part of the equation in it rolling fast, because there's not a lot of grip on that back tyre. A little bit skatey compared to the Minion DHF 60A, so just the dual compound one that I run, not the 3C. That Minion's definitely got more grip and a bit more damping at the back, but those Yari forks feel killer. They feel really good. The damping obviously makes a difference when you step up to the Lyric and you go the Charger 2 damper, but man, the biggest change in these forks is definitely that air spring. So the debonair, if you've got an older fork, a Pike, a Yari, a Lyric that doesn't have that debonair spring in it, get it. Seriously, it's so good. It just felt composed and calm the whole way down. Through the choppy stuff, it was composed. That rear shock definitely didn't feel too stiff. I had it too fast. The rebound was too fast, so I was getting a little bit chopped around. When I slowed the rebound down, usually in that scenario, if I slow it down too much, it just gets rough again. So it goes to a point where it's good and then it gets rough again. This one, I slowed it down. It's not super slow, but it's a little bit slower, and it just went composed. It just, the rear end sat down and felt really good. I'm gonna have to fiddle a little bit more, see how much travel we've used. Yeah, so we're still well within the limits of the travel. I'm not sure how many spaces are in there or anything like that. That'll be worth a look. I'll open that up later. I'll open the fork up later. So I've used a fair bit of travel on the fork, but not bottomed it out, obviously. So they feel, I don't reckon I'll even mess with the forks. They feel really good. So 2 clicks of compression. I started with 3, and then I backed it off to 2, and they feel really good. They're still tracking well. But not as, there was a little bit rough. It was a little bit harsh with 3 clicks, only just finite. So taking it back to 2 made them feel really good. I think 1 click would make it feel a little bit wandery at the front, so we'll stick to 2 for now. I might go back to 3 once I get the bike up to speed. Otherwise, super simple setup with the rear shock. It's just rebound and air, and then obviously volume spacers. The front tyre felt okay. It's the same as the back, I'm assuming. The XR4 team issue, yep. So front and back wheel, front and back tyre are the same. A little bit of a handful with the 29 adapting. So we got 780 bars. I'm used to 760s, and 29er wheels. I'm used to 27.5s. And also, this is a 19.5, and my bike's an 18.5, which always felt a little bit small for me, a little bit short. Now I'm 174 centimeters. This 19.5 feels exactly the right size for me. It doesn't feel big. It feels really good. If anything, it might be a little bit large, but it doesn't feel big to me. Like, it just feels perfect. The climbing's easy. It descends well. I'm going to punch out a heap of laps, fine tune it, and we'll see how it goes. That Bontrager seat post, there's no play in it, which is good. They seem to have fixed the play issue. It's obviously still new, but it is a little stiff to go down. You've got to be sitting right on that right angle to push it back down again. That'll wear in with time, I'm sure. The Bontrager seat feels like I'm sitting on two bricks. There's a brick there and a brick there, so terrible seat. Otherwise, everything feels pretty good.